Welcome back to AI Weekly News by Cyber Intel Systems. I'm glad you're with us. I'm your host, Leo Smith. Today's story is about Anthropic launches. Claude Opus 5 for cost-conscious agentic work. Anthropic describes Opus 5 as a model for everyday coding, knowledge, work, research, and longer multi-step tasks. It is now the default model on Claude Max and the strongest model offered on Claude Pro. Developers can call it with the model name Claude Opus 5 through the Claude API. Standard API pricing is $5 per minute Illion input tokens and $25 per minute Illion output tokens. That matches Opus 4.8 pricing. A fast mode is also available at about 2.5 times the default speed and twice the base price on the Claude platform. Price per token is only one part of the bill. A model that solves a task with fewer dollars, tool calls, or generated tokens can be cheaper even when its posted rate is higher than a smaller model. A model that needs repeated correction can reverse that advantage, so teams need measurements based on completed work rather than token prices alone. Anthropic says Opus 5 surpassed the other evaluated models on Frontier, Bench version 0.1, and more than doubled Opus 4.8, performance at a lower cost per task. The company also says that at maximum effort on current Bench 3.2, Opus 5 came within 0.5% of Fable 5's peak score at half the cost per task. The Frontier Bench result used Anthropic's stated harness and a mean over 5 attempts per task, which makes the test setup important context. The launch also emphasizes self-checking and persistence. Anthropic and several early access customers reported that the model was more willing to test its work, find root causes, and revise a result before declaring success. So these examples are promising, but customer testimonials and selected demonstrations do not replace controlled evaluation on a buyer's own repositories. 2 platform features arrived in beta with the model. Mid-conversation tool changes let developers alter the tools available during a conversation. Automatic API fallbacks can route a request flagged by a safety classifier to another available model instead of blocking the request outright. CNBC framed the release against growing pressure from cost-conscious enterprise buyers. Anthropic, OpenAI, major cloud providers, and lower-cost competitors are all being asked to connect model quality with a visible return on investment. Opus 5, therefore, competes as much on task economics and reliability as on a ladle position. Let's pause here for a short break. We'll be right back after this bumper. Welcome back. If you find this useful, follow and subscribe to AI Weekly News. Now, let's continue the news. The release could also narrow the gap between a premium model used occasionally and one assigned to routine agentic work. If a model can complete difficult tasks with fewer failed attempts, organizations may give it longer tweaks involving browsers, code tools, and business system. That increases the value of careful permissions, task limits, logs, and human approval for consequential actions. Buyers should compare models under the same conditions. Useful measures include successful task completion, total tokens, and tool calls, elapsed time, human correction time, failure severity. A broad average can hide whether a model is excellent on one FROCM and unreliable on another. Anthropic says its automated behavior audit gave Opus 5 an overall misaligned behavior score of 2.3, the lowest among its recent models. The company also says the model does not advance the frontier in risky dual-use capabilities and remains behind Mythos 5 in offensive cargakes and biology research. These are company-reported pre-deployment findings, and organizations still need controls matched to their own data and tools. The cyber safeguards are deliberately selective. Anthropic says the model can help find vulnerabilities in source code, while classifiers block categories such as binary-based scanning, penetration testing, and exploit generation. Flagged requests can fall back to Opus 4.8, while verified researchers and enterprises can use Anthropic's Cyther verification program for authorized work. Automatic fallback is operationally useful, but it can also change model behavior inside one application. Developers should record which model handled each request, preserve test coverage across fallback paths, and avoid assuming that 2 models have identical capabilities. A successful response is not enough if the system cannot explain which model produced it and under what policy. Claude Opus 5 represents a shift from selling maximum intelligence at any cost towards selling strong intelligence with a clearer task. Economic story: the posted price, faster option, tool updates, and safety routing all support that position. The most important evidence will come from repeatable customer evaluations rather than launch day benchmark summaries. Watch three things next: independent performance results, real cost per completed task, and failure behavior during long tool using weekos. If Opus 5 consistently finishes difficult work with fewer dose and controlled side effects, Anthropic's value argument will hold. And if those gains depend heavily on selected benchmarks or ideal prompts, buyers will discover that quickly in production measurements. Thank you for listening to AI Weekly News by Cyber Intel Systems. Subscribe and join us next week for the latest AI stories.